fatigued from the close work of fly tying, drifted to the newspaper open on his desk, then to the fluttering leaves of the aspen outside the window. He took a sip of tap water from the tumbler. The afternoon was beginning to ebb, and he'd have to make a decision soon if he was going to go fishing. A smile played across his lips. That is, he thought, if it was still safe to drive to the river. His eyes returned to the story in the paper. "Body found in Madison River," ran the headline. Rainbow Sam was quoted in paragraph 4. He said he hadn't seen skin that white since swimming with the Polar Bear Club in Lake Superior. Initially, he had said since peeling the D-cups off a biker chick at the Harley Rally in Sturgis, but when the reporter reminded him that the Bridger Mountain Star was a family newspaper, Sam had come up with the tamer quote. Details were sketchy. The body of an early-20s white male, clean-shaven, shoulder-length blonde hair, had been discovered half a mile below Lyons Bridge at 7 p.m. Wednesday by the fishing guide Samuel Meslick. Cause of death unknown, pending autopsy. No mention of a trout fly, nor of a stick jammed into an eye socket. Stranahan turned to the sports page and found the box scores of the Red Sox-Yankees doubleheader, which the teams had split. He had moved to Montana from a chapel town in Vermont near the Massachusetts border only 3 months earlier. He really didn't care about baseball, especially when the Sox were 8.5 games back at the All-Star break, but found himself reaching for that toehold on the past nearly every time he opened the newspaper. Beth loved the Sox. He pictured her sitting in the kitchen of their farmhouse, drinking coffee from her favorite eggshell mug, her reading glasses pulled down on her nose. He folded the newspaper and laid it on a corner of the desk. The phone rang. Welcoming the distraction, he picked it up. Maybe this was a print catalog, calling to tell him that one of the watercolors he submitted had been chosen for a limited edition release. Stranahan. Why do you have to answer the phone like that? It was his sister, who lived not far from Stranahan's old home in Vermont. Why can't you use the Christian name Mom and Dad gave you? Stranahan sighed. Contrary to popular opinion, I am a businessman. The way to deal with a publisher, not that I am overwhelmed with experience, is to answer tough, then soften up. It creates an illusion of intimacy. Tough? She said. You're not tough. You just look like you are. Oh, Sean, when something happens like it did to you, people start letting themselves go. Appearances count in this world. You're over 30 now. How are you going to pull yourself up if you're sleeping on a couch? If Beth knew what she'd done, Stranahan interrupted, I don't want to talk about Beth. It's not her fault. He glanced at his cluttered studio, watercolors hanging on the cracked plaster walls, fly-tying feathers decorating the floor. The place looked like the dirt ring in the aftermath of a cockfight. His eyes settled on a tea saucer he'd scattered with breadcrumbs beside a mouse hole in the baseboard. Are you still there? Really, Karen, I'm fine. He tried to put a positive note in his voice. The Trout Unlimited banquet's coming up. I have a painting in the auction. My work will get some exposure and a couple of more sales or a limited edition contract, and I can move into a proper place. All I really need to do is get back to work. What happened between you and Beth? It's not too late. Stop, Stranahan said firmly but gently. But I'll call you soon. Say hi to Carl and the twins. I love you too, Sean, even if you didn't say it first. Ditto. That started the trill of laughter he'd intended, and he replaced the receiver halfway through it and stared out the window of the studio. In the 3 months since he'd said goodbye to New England, Stranahan had done a lot of staring, out of the truck window, at the forested ridges that defined Bridger, the Montana town where he'd settled. Stopped might be a better word. Into hazy middle distance, at the door of his office. He didn't know what he was looking for exactly, only that he thought he'd know it.